Hi everyone. Well, I have 3 words for you. I did it. I did it. I went to the gym as I promised I was going to, and as I, promised to myself that I was going to do, and committed to myself that I would do it. I said I was going to go to the gym. I mentioned it in the video last week, and I did it. I went to the gym. I wanted to go earlier in the week, and I wasn't able to for various reasons. But I got over to the gym. I went in. I was excited and I was nervous at the same time. You know, for some people that may not seem like a big deal, but for me that was a huge step in, as I mentioned last week, in saying yes to the challenge, saying yes to this invitation that is calling me to come forward and step up to the next level in taking responsibility for my body, taking responsibility for my health. And so, yeah, it was a big deal. And you know what? I took a moment and I really celebrated that today. I took a moment after kind of prior to, yeah, it was like prior, on my way over there, I was just really feeling blissful about it. I was really feeling excited about it. And then after it was all done, I just took a minute and I just was celebrating that. I was celebrating the fact that I walked in there and I did it with intention. The intention was I was going in there to directly face this challenge that has been facing me for quite a few years, and face my fears. Faced my fears, and I'm excited to say my head didn't blow up. You know, things were good. Things were great. You know, it's funny. I walked into the gym, and I spoke with the gal that was working the front desk, and she just happened to be the girl who handles all the memberships and stuff for this particular place. And funny enough, now they're not accepting new members until the beginning of June. She said they're full, and so, you know what? I said to myself, that's okay. That's okay. You know why? I can't, because I went in there with the intention of facing my fears. I went in there with the intention of fully being like, let's sign this up, let's get this going now. And I was really surprised at the fact that she was like, oh, we're not, we're taking new members until June. But I said, that's okay. You know, I did my part. I'm going to still fill out my application. I'm still going to go through the process. I'm going to take it back in there and believe that everything's going to happen the way that it should. In the meantime, though, because I really want to be a part of this gym, this specific gym. So in the meantime, I'm going to utilize my legs and keep going for walks. I'm going to utilize any DVDs that I have, or my workout that I've been doing that I really, really love to do, called Body Flex. I'm going to keep doing that. And I'm going to do what I can here and right now. And then when June rolls around, maybe something will open up before then. Maybe it won't, but that's okay, because I'm still moving forward, and I'm going to do what I can right here and now in this moment. So all that to say, I had to tell you guys about it. I was so excited that I did it. I faced that giant and punched him smack in the teeth. So I'm proud of myself. Yay! So anyway, it was exciting. I had to let you guys know that I did that like right off the bat, like first thing in the beginning of this video. Looking at my cheat sheet. The second thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was, this was interesting. So last week, with Easter and everything, Easter's all, well, for most of us, is about, yes, it's about being with family and going to church for some of us and celebrating that. But for a lot of us, it's about eating candy, chocolate bunnies and stuff, desserts and everything. And so anyway, so what happened was my niece's birthday fell on, it was like right after Easter, like next day after Easter. And my grandmother's birthday fell right around the same time. And so there was a lot of celebrating going on this last week. And because I'm making a lifestyle change and I'm not dieting, I'm not saying, oh, God, I can't ever eat that, or, really limiting myself as, like I mentioned before, calorie counting and all that nonsense. At least for me, I can't do it. It's just, I can't do it. But anyway, because I'm making a lifestyle change, I said to myself, I'm going to allow myself to have a piece of cake, at the birthday party. I'm going to allow myself to have, a few things, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because the bottom line is that because there's such a shift has happened inside of me, in my heart, my soul, my mind, my spirit, everything. There's been such a shift that I really don't, like I mentioned to you before, because I haven't been eating sugar and flour, white sugar, white flour, and like a lot of processed foods. I just don't really crave it, but on an internal level, I really just don't want them anymore, to be honest. I don't crave them. So, and that goes back to because I'm actually dealing with what I'm feeling and dealing with the inner stuff and letting that come out and letting that have a voice, whether it's journaling or speaking it out or whatever. That'll go. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get into that. So anyway, so I had a lot of celebrating going on this last week. And so this is what happened. So I had the birthday party for my grandmother. I had a great time with family. Like I said, I allowed myself to have, my meal was actually really healthy that I had that day. But then later on I said, oh yeah, okay, I'll let myself have some cake. So I had a little piece of cake. Okay. And it was Easter, so we got these cute little baskets when I went to church with my family that morning, and these cute little baskets that they passed out, they had like little, little chocolate eggs in them and stuff, and just like a few little candies, and I was like, oh yum, I'll have a few. So I had a few. And so, okay, so let's fast forward to the next day. So the next day after Easter, Monday, like I said, it was my niece's birthday, and ended up having a second birthday party, and I kind of felt a little bit sluggish on Monday, to be honest, but I really didn't pay that much attention to it. And her birthday rolls around, and I have another piece of cake for her birthday, thinking, okay, yeah, I'll have a piece of cake for her birthday, because I'm still eating healthy. I'm doing all the other things that I want to do, but yes, I'll go ahead and do that. So I did that. So Tuesday rolls around. Can we just say holy heartburn? Because I didn't realize, I think it's been a process, like I mentioned before, and I've been noticing the changes in my body. That now this is my body. This is not everyone, but it could be for you, and it could be for a lot of other people may relate. This is what I noticed on Tuesday. I felt foggy, like brain foggy. So, like, I felt like, oh, I need more coffee. Yeah, it was like coffee now and coffee by the gallon. Okay, that was one. Two, I felt sluggish. I felt tired. I had a busy weekend, but I really felt like the sugar and the flour just really sucker punched me. Like, bam, just... Yeah, I did not anticipate that at all. I got severe heartburn, like severe heartburn. I was really surprised at the level of heartburn that I was dealing with because of that. Another thing was, I remember that I mentioned in a previous video about how I've always suffered with severe allergies, hay fever, that sort of thing. And the thing that I immediately noticed on Tuesday, like immediately after having 2 days, just having cake and stuff for those 2 days, Tuesday I noticed that my sinuses were completely swollen. I was severely congested. I was having to blow my nose, TMI, do all that. I noticed, what else did I notice? I couldn't smell anything, like, at all. Like, it was really bad. Like, I couldn't smell anything. And do you know, I'm still to this day, it's been a process of recovery, like all week from those decisions that I made last weekend or in the beginning of the week, literally for days. It's taken days, like, I can't explain it. It tripped me out, to be honest, just to see, like, how my body was affected, and directly with the sinuses, directly with the inflammation, the heartburn. Oh, and that's another thing. So on Monday night, after I had the cake at my niece's birthday party, I was home. It was later in the evening, and I felt sick to my stomach. I felt so nauseous. I felt like I was going to puke, but it was more so just like this, just like stomach turning kind of thing. I was really blown away by it. So I just have to say that I am really seeing what a huge impact white flour, white sugar has on my body. I never realized the extent of how bad it really physically makes me feel. Before, when I was eating white sugar, white flour, like on the regular, on a daily basis, and whether it was through processed foods that I was eating, whether it was from a sweet or a dessert that I was eating, whether it was through a soda that I was drinking, sweetened juice that I was drinking, whatever means it came through my mouth into my body, because I was doing it on a regular basis and several times a day, I did not realize the amount of, like, inflammation that was going on. I look now and I can see, because I have something to compare it to, because I have been feeling so good, because I have been feeling so much better in my own body. But the instant that the instant I had sugar, and it wasn't immediate, it was like I said, it was on Tuesday when I woke up just feeling ugh. Here's another thing that I noticed on Tuesday. There were other reasons this happened, but I really feel like the sugar and the flour directly affected my mind. I've heard that sugar, having lots of sugar in your diet, can actually make you depressed, make you feel symptoms of depression. And I just noticed I just felt overall blah, just blah. And I was really surprised by that. Anyway, I just think that that's really fascinating, and it's such an eye-opener for me, because it's showing me just how sugar affects me. That is tripping me out. So I wonder how many of us are having these symptoms and we don't even realize that it's directly related to sugar and processed foods and flour. It trips. Something to think about. Sorry, this is blowing. This is my curtain, and it's got pretty little, palm trees and stuff on it, and I didn't realize how wrinkled it was until I came in here to film, and I was like, oh, it is wrinkled, but whatever. I'm not tripping about it. I want to make my video, so I'm not worried about that. It's not a big deal. Let's see, what else was I going to talk about? Sorry, I'm looking down here. The other thing that I wanted to mention, was I wanted to talk really quickly about, I want to ask if anybody's interested in me speaking more about coconut oil, virgin coconut oil. I've had a few requests, people who emailed me and mentioned, have asked me some questions about coconut oil. And so if there are more of you out there that have any questions about like what you can use coconut oil for, and things like that, whether it's for your skin, your body, to eat it, whatever, how do you cook with it, that type of thing, please feel free to email me, shoot me a message on Facebook, shoot me a message on YouTube, whatever, and I will be happy to share with you the things that I'm doing and the things that the changes that I'm noticing because of coconut oil. One of the things I wanted to touch on, and I can do maybe a video just on this, but one of the things I wanted to mention, because as I mentioned to you before, coconut oil has changed my religion. It truly is one of the best things I have ever found in my life. Wish I'd found it, before, but sorry, I write notes in my hands sometimes. Reminders and stuff. But anyway, one of the things I wanted to mention was with coconut oil is oil pulling. I don't know if you've ever heard of oil pulling. Sorry, I feel like I have something in my eyes. Maybe my eyes are dry or something, but sorry about that. I keep poking at my face. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to mention to you was oil pulling. Oil pulling is actually an ancient Ayurvedic method of cleansing the body and cleansing the mouth. So essentially what they used to do thousands of years ago for oral health and to detoxify their bodies, to pull out toxins and I want to say parasites too, but I have to confirm that. So one of the things that they would do, and they would typically use sesame oil. Yeah, sesame oil. So, but what they would do is they would take that oil in the morning or during the day, and they would swish it in their mouths, and they would swish it for maybe 20-30 minutes and spit it out, and then you rinse your mouth out really well. And what that does is the oil, the properties in the oil actually pull out the bacteria, stuff that lives inside of your mouth, the stuff that makes your breath smelly in the morning. That's bacteria. And bacteria growth in between your teeth, on your tongue, in your gut, in this whole region. So what it does is it pulls it out. Now there's a lot of people everywhere because coconut oil has now gone mainstream. One of the things that I heard of a few years ago and started to practice it and started to do it because after I heard about all the amazing things coconut oil does, was oil pulling with coconut oil. So essentially what you do is you get a big spoonful of this. Now I don't mean like some huge big old monster spoonful, but like a heaping teaspoon or a moderate sized tablespoon, and you just take it, put in the coconut oil. Coconut oil is going to be solid. If your house is anywhere under 70 degrees, then this is going to be solid. So when you get it, it's not, sometimes it might take a little bit work to get it out. But if it's hotter than 70 degrees, it turns to liquid. But then when it gets cold again, it goes right back to being solid again. It solidifies. But anyway, so you're going to get a spoonful of this. You're going to put it in your mouth first thing in the morning, not after you brush your teeth. Don't even eat or drink anything. You're not even supposed to, from what I've heard, you're not supposed to eat or drink anything until you cleanse your mouth, because you're eating all that nasty bacteria, drinking all that nasty bacteria that has been growing overnight. Ooh. So anyway, so what you do is you get a spoonful of this, put it in your mouth, and it's gonna, if it's solid, for people who have a thing with texture, it might kind of, be a little off-putting, but give it a try, at least give it a shot. So what I do is I put it in my mouth so the heat from your body starts to melt it, and I just kind of, work it around until it melts. Sometimes I'll chew on it or whatever, just kind of swish it around. Next thing you know, it's completely melted in your mouth, and you just swish it. You swish it around, that sort of thing. Do that for anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes I go 30 minutes, sometimes I go just 15, it depends. But at least 15 minutes, try to do 20 if you can. While you're doing other things, wake up, put them in your mouth, get your clothes ready for the day, make your coffee, whatever it is that you need to do. And then at the end of the time, when it's done, 15-20 minutes later, you're going to find that it's gotten a lot more, the oil's gotten a lot more thinned out, I guess, because it intermingles with your own saliva and stuff. Anyway, so then you're going to spit that out. Don't spit it down your sink because it can solidify, right? So you don't want to clog your sink up. But you can spit it down the toilet or into the trash can, whatever. And as soon as do not swallow it. Do not swallow it, because it's going to be full of bacteria from your gut, because it actually pulls any nastiness from your gut, any bacteria, like I said, from your mouth, things like that. It's going to pull this stuff out of your system. It's going to detoxify you. And so you don't want to drink that. So you spit that out. Then after you spit that out, you're going to rinse your mouth out really, really well. I mean, I'll rinse my mouth out with some water at least 2 or 3 times, get a bit of good swishy swish, and then spit that out. Then brush your teeth and go about your normal thing that you do in the mornings. I have found, since I have begun to do, since I've been doing this now, it's been now, 2 years, maybe 3, going on 3, since I have been using coconut oil, and I have been just oil pulling, because the oil pulling then led me to the toothpaste, and that toothpaste led me to doing my own mouthwash, and so on, so on. And I'll talk, if you guys are interested in that, please let me know. I'll be happy to share. Anyway, so I've noticed a huge improvement in my gum health. Because I was a smoker for a certain amount of time, I noticed that parts of my gums were receding, and I did not like that. And so I've actually noticed that they've started to repair they started to repair themselves, which I didn't even know that could happen. But I've just noticed my gums are healthier, my teeth are brighter. I've noticed that over time, like in the beginning, it was kind of tripping me out. I would notice I could feel the amount of stuff that was just kind of coming out of my system through the oil pulling. It was weird. It was interesting, but fascinating at the same time. But I just noticed that after I would do that, like my breath was fresher and all of that. So, I don't know. Anyway, I love it. It's one of the best things that I've ever incorporated into my daily self-care routine. And if you're really interested in it, you should Google it. Look it up. There's tons of videos on YouTube about oil pulling. There's lots of more information out there. One of the websites that you can go to is go to coconutmagic.com, or look up Coconut Magic on YouTube. This gal's from Australia, and she's amazing. She has so much good information about coconut oil. I mean, there's tons out there. Nutiva, that's a really good one. They are an amazing company, and they sell one of the best coconut oils out there. So anyway, check them out too. They're pretty awesome. Again, this is just my opinion. I'm not getting paid for nothing for any of this. Okay, so I'm rambling now. I feel like I'm rambling now, but I feel like I just needed to turn the camera on as I was listening to this song right here. I felt like I just needed to turn the camera on and just speak to what this song is saying. I turned everything off and was getting ready to do some more editing on my video from today. And I was listening to this song, which is one of my absolute favorite songs now. It's a singer who I really love. I think she's got an absolutely beautiful voice, and her name is Jean Baylor, and the song is called Morning Time. And first time I heard that song is when I was in Oregon. I was, and you remember I talked about being like in the throes of depression, in the deep, deep places of depression. Places in such a depression where when you don't want to get out of bed, when your days are literally, you feel like, not all days, but you feel like most of the days of your life are completely void of any joy. I've got my water bottle behind me, as you can see, and it's really big and right there, but I just had to say that anyway, I was in depression. I had very little joy in my life at that time. And when you're in that place, for a long time, it just does something to you, you get into a place of just feeling absolutely hopeless, and you feel like you start to wonder if you're ever going to come out of it. You start to wonder if you're ever going to come out of this prison. If you're ever gonna have hope or happiness or joy again in your entire life. Like, you get to that place. And I'm very musical. I've been singing since I was 3. Anybody who knows me knows I sing. I've always, music has been, I can't even describe. I feel like part of my soul is made from music. That's how I feel. I feel like I can listen to a song, and I can hear a song, and it speaks to me in a way that nothing else on this planet can. It speaks to me in a deep place, a very deep place inside of me. I hear a song that I love. I hear a song that resonates with me, that speaks to me in some way. I can listen to that song for I need to listen to it. I need to listen to it over and over and over again. Especially when I feel like I've connected with it, because I feel like, I don't know, some part of the message that comes through is like being interwoven into me. That's how it feels. Like it's a part of who I am. And anyway, all that said, there's a song that I first heard in Oregon when I was in Oregon. And I was listening to, I would have really late nights, and I didn't get a lot of sleep. And I loved this band from like the 90s. There was actually a girl group, a duet called Jane, and they did that song "Sending My Love." If anybody is that old to remember that song, it was like popular on the radio. Sending my love to ya. I don't know. Praying for you to call. Yeah, that one. Sealing it with a kiss. Sending my love. Anyway, love that song. And anyway, so she is one of the girls from that group, from that duet. And anyway, I didn't realize at the time, I didn't even know this until recently when I found this song from her, was that she's a Christian, and apparently like big things have happened in her life, and she's found some peace in her life and everything. So anyway, I one night was going through Spotify, as I often do, and was just going through songs and stuff, and I don't know exactly how I came across this song, but I did, and I played it. The first time I played it, it resonated with me at such a deep place, and I had to listen to it. I had to listen to it over and over again. And it talks about, in the morning time, your joy is going to come in the morning. That she was sent to give a message that, you're going to be whole again, you're going to be happy again, you're going to be joyful again. So I listened to this song over and over, and man, it has become one of the songs that I just go to. You know that song you go to, or those songs you go to when you need to just connect with something, you need to listen to something that speaks to a deep place in your heart and your soul, something that brings healing to you, hope to you. It was like a lifeline. There were a few songs like that, but it was like, that's the best way to describe it. It was a lifeline to me. I literally held on to the song and let it feed me, feed my heart, feed my soul, feed that deep need for joy again. And anyway, I was listening to this song right now, and I just felt like, you just need to play it. You need to listen to it. You need to talk about it. You need to share it with your friends and with your family. When you can, look this song up. In fact, I'll put the link at the end of this video. Just listen to the words. Come on, Let me show you how. Joy, your joy, coming in the morning. Coming in the morning, your joy. I mean, I'm not Helen Baylor, but oh man, just have to. Here to give you a message. Never know what you can do. You'll never know till you have His love. And you have hope again. You fly, you fly, you fly, you fly. Joy coming in the morning. Your joy. Your joy. Your joy's coming. You may feel hopeless. You may feel like life is not worth living. There's hope out there. Ooh. Beautiful. Everything is because He loves me so. Yeah. Only I can. My life is so beautiful. Everything, everything. Because God reached out to me. God reached out to me in the dark depths of depression, and literally spoke joy into my life. Just spoke to me. God, Source, spoke to me. I heard a voice speak to me and say that my life was going to change. And it wasn't an audible voice. It wasn't a Raina, it wasn't anything like that. And it wasn't voices in my head, anything. It was the voice of God. There's no other way to say it. In the middle of depression, I was walking down the street, going for a walk, a few blocks from my house, and I walked in front. There was a church there, and in the front of the church, they were doing some construction, and they were uprooting all of the grass that was in front of that area on the sidewalk. I don't know if it was the city or the church, but all the grass that was right there that was in front of the church had been uprooted. There were bulldozers out there, and they had uprooted all that old grass, and it was in huge piles, just dirt, these huge mounds of dirt, just, right there as I was walking past. So I was going to start to walk around it. And as I came up to that part, and I saw these huge mounds of dirt and everything, I heard a voice very clearly say to me, and it wasn't an audible voice that I could hear with my ear. It was a knowing on the inside. It was just into my spirit, into my heart, into my real self. I heard this message. This is what I heard this voice say to me was, I am uprooting from you all the old things. I'm uprooting all the old ways of being, all the old thoughts, the old ideas, the old Raina, all those old things that no longer serve you, that no longer serve your life, that are holding you, holding you down, holding you back. I'm uprooting those things. And I am planting inside of you new things, new seeds, new things that will bring a harvest in your life, that will grow in your life. I'm weeding out the old and I'm planting the new. And I just burst into tears. I didn't know what to do. I would burst into tears because I knew in that moment that I had heard from God, and it was kind of like I couldn't believe it on the one hand, and on the other hand I was just so, like, I can't even put it into words. But it was like a lifeline that was being thrown out to me in the middle of this dark, dark place. And it was from that moment that happened to me in Oregon as I was walking down the road for my walk to exercise. It was in that moment that my life started to change. It was in that moment. I came home. I couldn't shake that. There's been very few times in my life where I have experienced something like that, where you absolutely know it wasn't you. You know that it wasn't, you're not crazy. You know what you heard. You know what you saw. You know what you experienced. And I know what I experienced. And that was the moment. Let me get some water. That was the moment that started the change in my heart. That was the moment that I saw a glimmer of hope. And there was it sort of started a chain reaction where I would start to just, different messages would start to come through to me about my life, about me, about hope, about I'll have to dive into this another time, but I just knew in that moment, and here I am today. Started this vlog. This has now become a part of my awakening process. This is the next step, this vlog. Stepping up in working out, more in a more effective way, I guess. And stepping up to the next level, basically. And I feel like, part of starting this vlog was to put out there what is happening, what has happened in my life, what is happening. And this vlog it's not for everyone. These videos are specifically for anyone that this resonates with. If you're that person that has struggled through life, if you're that person who has always been the heavy girl, the fat girl, the girl who barely had any self-esteem at all, if you've been that person who has struggled with something in your life, depression, just whatever, a person who I can look at you and say, I know exactly where you are, I know exactly what you're feeling, because I have been there. I have been there. And I'm telling you now that there's hope, and you have a future, that you can open yourself up and open your heart up and start to surrender those deep things that hurt too much to talk about, hurt too much to dive into. And even if it's just little steps, little steps to open up. Maybe one step is beginning a journal. I used to say I'm going to journal all the time, and I would never really sit down and journal. I would start and I would stop. I would start and I would stop. But one of the things that has really helped me in this process has begun journaling. Like putting my feelings out there, putting my thoughts, my ideas, my whatever's coming to my mind, we're putting it on paper, giving it a voice, giving myself the respect of a voice. Because it's funny, I have had a voice. I've been a singer, a vocalist my whole life. I've always been on the stage in front of people at church and elsewhere. But the girl who had a voice didn't have a voice when it came to my life and my day-to-day and my friends and my family and whatever. I very rarely spoke my truth, very rarely spoke what I was really feeling, and most of the time I was shoving down what I really felt, or if I was stressed out, I was stress eating, or if I was battling something. Anyway, I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to feel hopeless, and I know what it feels like to feel like your life is never going to change. But I just want you to know that Source, God, for me, has shown up into my life, has shown into my life, has put a new light in my life, has given me hope. It's made me happy again. I haven't felt this much joy in years. I haven't felt this alive. I have not felt this just in years. I haven't felt it, and I feel it again, and it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I feel like someone who was in the desert and was dying of thirst, and I feel like now I'm in the middle of a spring just lapping it up. Like, that's what it feels like. So anyway, this video's gone on for a long time, but I just needed to put this out there. And for whoever this resonates with, whoever this reaches, I want you to know that I send blessings to you. I send love to you. I send light to you. I send prayers to you. And know that you are not alone. And just stop and really allow yourself a moment to open up to the fact that you are loved. You are loved. God loves you. And I don't mean that in a cliche way. I mean source of all life. Not judgment, not anger, not a set of rules or obligations. I'm talking about God loves you. And your life can be different. Your life can be different. Blessings to you. Blessings to you, and I'll be speaking to you guys soon. Love you guys.